So, what's up, YouTube? Doom is the game of choice today. I'm going to do my best to see if we can get some 4K action going on with the GTX 1080. I did have a bit of a whirl on it last night, and it is a pretty good game. I'll try not to spoil the the actual game too much. I want to do a video with just gameplay, but that'll be focused on later on. I'm also looking to do tonight the 3D Mark and the amplifier tests with the graphics cards, all three of them, the GTX 980, the GTX 980 Ti and the GTX 1080. We'll be running some bench tests on them. We'll see if the 1080 can actually handle 4K benchmarks and what it gets. And as you know, I've promised to do them into the Area 51 as well, which is going to be a bit more hassle. We have to do some installation and uninstallation of drivers, but we'll get to that. But anyway, here's Doom, and I hope you enjoy. Okay guys, so just to quickly go through the settings, we're on the GTX 1080 on the amplifier at the moment, and the video settings are on 1080p, VSync is off, and the graphics are set to medium. So we'll just go and have a look, and hopefully this is not juddery. I've had to play around the DxTory settings. See, the frames in this absolutely gash. I was on 100 something frames a second, 130 frames before we started recording, and at the moment it's capping in around about 50. So DxTory is hammering this. Like I said, I've had to change the settings quite a bit just to get it to run smoothly, because it was pretty bad. I'm using Lagrith codec, and yeah, we're on about 45 frames. There's a video scene coming up, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this off and then we'll jump back in afterwards so we can get a bit more gameplay. Just wanted to show you guys, just before I get called a bullshitter, frames per second currently sitting at 121, 120. As soon as I hit the F9 for recording on, there we go, on DxTory, and we've plummeted down to 40. So this is just before I get called out for chatting shit. What I'm going to try and do as well, after I've done a couple more videos, we're going to try streaming from the Area 50, streaming from the Alienware 15 to the Area 51, where I can use shadow play and desktop capture mode. It actually uses the onboard graphics card of the device you're streaming from. So in theory, I should be able to use the desktop version of shadow play whilst using the GTX 1080 that's on the amplifier. But as soon as I hit the F9 button, we're back up to 120 frames. So that is why it's pretty pointless at the moment trying to do various graphical settings, because it's just slaying the FPS and we're not going to get a true reading. Okay, so basically what I've had to do, because the frame rates were so gash on the Alienware 15 when we're using DxTory, I've swapped onto the desktop Area 51 and we're streaming, which is a feature that Steam have introduced. I'm not too sure how long ago it was, but I've only recently started noticing it. I did try it on last night when I was recording Tomb Raider, purely because when you stream, I was streaming from the desktop to the laptop, but it was using the desktop's graphics card, which makes sense. So doing it the reverse, the other way around, we're going to be using the GTX 1080, which is on the amp connected to the laptop at the moment, and we're going to be streaming it to my desktop 1080p screen. I'm not too sure how good the quality is going to be, but we'll test it out and see. It's currently, yeah, we're not went to 1080p. VSync is off. Graphics, we'll put them on to high, and let's see what we get and how it looks. Does look a little bit grainy where it's streaming. I'm guessing where it's buffering. I mean, on the laptop next to me it looks crystal clear, and it just looks a bit pixely on here. I mean, if we just kind of take out of context the fact that the quality is there, it is flawless on the laptop. Obviously we're having to stream it to the desktop, so we're more along the lines looking at frame rates is what we're going for here. I mean, I can do some just gameplay. I've got it installed on the Area 51, so I can just do some some, you know, if you want to see some good quality graphics, we can do it this way. But this is purely just to see what the GTX 1080 is capable of and whether it transfers across in streaming or not. So it'll be interesting to see. There's a bit of a video scene coming up, so hopefully it's not too long. I can't remember how long this was when we did this yesterday.
Cannot determine the cause of the demonic invasion until the Resup satellite is brought back online.
Alignment error.
Welcome. I'm Dr. Samuel Hayden. I'm the head of this facility. I think we can work together and resolve this problem in a way that benefits us both.
I'll take that as a no. Yeah, it does just seem to be a bit grainy. I mean, frames are solid 60. I don't know why it's not going above 60. Maybe that is capped where with streaming. Suppose that would make sense to cap it, but it is 60 on both the laptop and the desktop at the moment, and I've yet to see it go above 60, whereas on the desktop it was streaming. Well, it wasn't streaming. On the laptop we were getting 100 plus, 130, 140, and as soon as you hit DX Story, that was it. It slayed it down to about 45, 50. Yeah, I think it is literally just capping the stream at 60. So that is, unfortunately, I'm a bit stuck, because if I use DX Story on the laptop, we're not going to get anywhere near a true representation of the frames. But if we're using the desktop, we're capped at 60. I mean, it's nice and clear here, but when I start moving around, it gets a bit grainy. So it stabilises when we're still, and then we move around, you can see it starts to go grainy, grainy, grainy. And I just appeared to have picked up a shotgun. So that is the joy of streaming. I mean, it appears to be, you know, useful in its ways. You're not too bothered about the quality. I maybe if I manage to get the laptop connected instead of Wi-Fi using a stable Ethernet connection, that may be a bit better. But unfortunately, I am not able to do that as of this moment in time. If we just go and sit still, it kind of levels off and looks quite nice. But it's a shame, really. I mean, not too sure why it's not too compatible, and probably not the video you was expecting. I was looking forward to doing some nice 4K, but if it's slaying the FPS from 140 down to 45 in 1080p on high settings, 4K is going to be unplayable. It's going to be awful. So, I mean, what I will do is I will use my phone just to give you guys a quick demonstration. There won't be much in the way of gameplay, but I can show you what it is hitting when you're doing certain frames and certain graphic settings. You know, a few seconds on each to see what we're getting, just to give you a bit of a heads up on that. I know it's not what we're after, but I am limited with what I can do, unfortunately, because shadow play doesn't seem to want to work. I mean, I'm using it on the desktop, but we're in desktop capture mode, which unfortunately at the moment is not available on the laptop. So hopefully they will start to bring that out for the laptop version as well, because it will be very handy when it comes to recording games. Either that, or I can get some 4K screens for my Area 51. But then saying that, the 4K screens are hundreds of pounds, and yeah, I've literally just bought the 1080s. They're probably about 6-8 months old. So I think we've killed everything. Oh no, there's one up there. I missed it. Yeah.
that it? Destroy
Demonic
the ghoul
presence
nest.
eliminated. Lockdown.
I mean, it's that
disengaged.
grainy that I couldn't even read that until I stabilised and went still, and then it kind of levels out. And now that looks nice. That looks really good. Let's move around. Oh, and it levels off. So yeah, streaming for you, unfortunately. I will do a video on streaming, and we can try out a few things, i.e. using the Wi-Fi, using Ethernet cable. It will involve me moving the laptop and the amplifier out of here and into the room where my router is and streaming that way, but as I say, it's going to be a bit of a nightmare to do, so we'll cover that in a later video. Like I said, apologies for the quality. I will now do a few video clips on the iPhone just to show you guys what we're getting from the laptop. I'll chuck it on the stand, but like I said again, do apologise, and yes, look forward to the next video, which is going to be the graphics cards running bench tests in the amplifier, the 980, the 980 Ti and the 1080. That's coming up next, so keep your eyes peeled for that, and yeah, cheers.
Okay, so we're currently sat on my desk. As you see, I can apologise for the angle and the quality. I'm just videoing this so that you can get a true representation. We've got Fraps top corner here, and we got the Shadowplay FPS counter on the other side. So between them we should get a pretty accurate frames per second. We're currently using the GTX 1080, and it's on 1080p setting, which I will quickly confirm when it allows me to do so. This is the start of Doom, which I'm pretty sure we've seen a few times now, thanks to the previous clips. Like I said, I'll keep this rather sweet, just give you an idea of the frames. This is the only way I can record this with a true representation without the use of Shadowplay. Okay, so look at the settings. I'm pretty sure you can read these on it. Yeah, you can. So yeah, 1080p at the moment. It's on high settings. Put them on medium for now. No, I actually save them. That'd be a good idea. Medium. Yes, we're going to save. Okay. So currently, .100 frames a second there as well. .130. I mean, I think we know this is quite obviously going to play very well. So let's just knock them up to high now. 140, 130 down to 110. While whacking it up to high. And it's nice and crisp. There's no juddery. Is once again a little video clip that we have to endure, and then we can get straight back into it. Even though the video seems to be capped at 60 frames a second, it's just mandatory, I think. Turn it up a bit.
Cannot determine the cause of the demonic invasion until the Resop satellite is brought back online.
Welcome. I'm Dr. Samuel Hayden. I'm the head of this facility. I think we can work together and resolve this problem in a way that benefits us both.
Glory kills, yeah. We all have a glory kill. Wait for the change. Go. Okay, so yeah, still between 100 and 120. He now has a shotgun. Yeah, okay, thanks.
Demonic presence at unsafe levels. Lockdown.
What we'll do now, we will whack up the settings slightly more. Put them. It's just custom after that. Yes, put them on ultra. Everything is on. Everything's up. Yeah, we're not going to mess with. Yeah, I'm not going to mess with rendering. We'll just leave that as it is. Okay, so we're around about the 80s now instead of hundreds. Door nest is down. These things are so easy to kill. These ones are a bit more tricky. But the next thing to do would be to try some 4K on medium settings. Bear with me, I do not know if this will actually work in game, but hopefully it will. Okay, first we'll knock down that medium. Yes, keep the settings, video. Okay, so we're going to go to 4K. Play. No, it's gone all spacky. So what I will do, I'll jump out quickly, swap the panel to 4K, and then we'll come back in. Right, we're back. As you can see from the resolution, you're going to have to squint a little harder to see the frames per second. I will give you a bit of an update as it's going. Both counters in the respective corners again, and I'll quickly just go through. Okay, settings, video, 4K is active. Graphics we're on at medium at the moment. 4K does look sick. Deja vu, I think we've seen this do before.
Demonic presence at unsafe levels. Lockdown in effect.
55, 60 frames. Okay. Yeah, they're just smashing up. It's been wrecked. Still high 40s.
Demonic presence at unsafe levels.
Good night. Still pretty stable, 45, 50 frames, top end of 40, it's juddering around between 40 and 50 frames.
Demonic presence at unsafe levels. Lockdown in effect.
I imagine we'll probably be able to play high just about, but ultra, I think, judging from what we're seeing at the moment, ultra's going to be off the cards. Oh dear. Been destroyed.
Demonic presence eliminated.
I will change the settings. Advanced. We'll put you on high. Yes. Okay, let's see how it fares on high if it's playable. Sitting around about 45 at the moment, so yeah, it's dropped a few already. And jumping around, it drops to 40. I haven't seen it hit 30s yet.
Cannot be allowed to leave this place.
Looks really good on 4K, I think.
I'm willing to take full responsibility for the horrible events of the last 24 hours, but you must understand. Our interest in their world was purely for the betterment of mankind. Everything has clearly gotten out of hand now, yes. But it was worth the risk, I assure you.
That is the end of the intro at the moment, so just need to wait for it to ping through. There we go. Okay, we are around about 59 frames a second. Just make sure that hasn't dicked around with the settings at all. Still 4K, still on high. Okay. So yeah, I mean, we're on high, we're running in 4K, we're on 50, 55 frames a second. So, I mean, personally, I'm happy with that. That is much better than I thought it would be. It was just not full to our death. Oh, that's good. That's nearly 60 frames. I mean, ideally, most people say you should be hitting around about 60 frames, but I definitely wouldn't go anything under 30 really to play it comfortably. I think ideally you want to be hitting like we are at the moment, 50 to high 50s. It will dip as we're playing and a bit more happens. What the fuck is that? Head stomp. Bang. Yeah, that was ruthless. 48 frames. Oh. This is literally just like gung-ho, destroy everything in your way, which is pretty good for de-stressing yourself. Just keep smacking until it lets me reckon. Okay, I will see what it copes on Ultra. I imagine it's going to be probably a bit juddery as we experience some intense scenes of lots of AI kicking off at the same time. But no, we're 4K on Ultra and we're in the 40s really as it's idling, 47. And it's stable. It's not flickering around or struggling to render anything. Really, it's not ghosting or anything like that. So yeah, it looks pretty good. I'm at 41, 42 frames. Hell has awoken. Is there more? Checkpoint reached. 40 odd frames. It still hasn't really dropped into the 30s. I think it hit 37 once, maybe twice. has coped pretty well. The 1080, I'm very impressed. I would like to see what I know a super clocked EVGA version of this would do. That would be much better with the higher clock speed. Grenade. Is that a grenade? Yeah, crack grenade. Nice. Game on. Still in the 40s, middle 40s to low 40s. We are kind of spiking at 50s as well, so it really is dependent on where we are in the level. I mean, if I'm standing still, you know, if I look up at the sky, well, there's not a lot going on. We're hitting 60s, nearly 70. But right in the thick of it, we are competent at, you know, middle to low 40s, which is playable. I personally like to play around about 60 frames a second, like I said earlier, so I think it's one of the things, it's just preference, but it, you know, it's clearly able to cope. I don't know how hard this is, you know, compared to other games. I wouldn't imagine it's as demanding as like The Witcher 3 or anything like that, but I will see what we can do in terms of playing some more graphically intense games. But classic shoot 'em up, run around, blow shit up. This appears to be coping quite well. I'll get over the explosive shot. Yeah. Give me my upgrade. Oh, nice. So yeah, it is pretty capable. Oh, he's down. What I'll do is I'll leave that there where it is. I mean, playable, yes. I imagine when we get a bit more of a clearer picture as to how it's coping, with the bench test on the amplifier, and then in the desktop we may see that if you put this card into a desktop, I imagine you would get a marked improvement in 4K and everything where you'd see across the board differences. So we'll leave that where it is. I mean, like I said, apologies for the quality, but that's the only option we really had with the streaming not going to plan and the desktop recording and the other recording software hammering the FPS. But yeah, we'll leave it there and see how we get on.